Hello and welcome back to Planescape Torment Enhanced Edition with me, Bardon, Mort, and the Nameless One. So we found out that the Nameless One isn't exactly the best fighter. While Mort is pretty good at it, but the Nameless One probably should avoid fighting for the moment. So we're gonna start talking to some of these guys here. Okay. So Tavern, you see a scaled fiend who looks very similar to the one standing next to him. In addition to pierced left ears, both are black-hued and reptilian, with bat wings tucked against themselves. This one has a small scar under his left eye. Greetings, old comrade. 'Tis truly a joy to see you again. Again? What I mean, dear man, is that time our old enemy has performed a vicious disservice on you. It robs your memories and steals your recollections. If you do not recall us, why, it is because you have fallen prey to one of mortality's weaknesses. We are old friends of yours, old indeed. What can we do for you? I had some questions. Some questions? Perhaps we have answers. We are certainly eager to aid you, old friend. Who are you? Atelgrin time has robbed our companion's memory. You honestly do not recall us, do you? Truly, I am grieved. But as am I, Tavern, truly aggrieved, yet I rest easy. It has, after all, been many hundreds of years, and we know how the minds of mortals tend to dissipate with age. Well spoken. Old friend, we are a pair of Abishai on leave from our current assignments in Bator. I am Tavern, the Thrice Damned, so named for my ability to find the best in every situation. This is Atelgrin, who has earned himself no special name, though not for the lack of trying. Lack of trying? What do you mean? Atelgrin ignores you as it responds to its companion. And once again, Tavern, you have cut straight to the truth of the matter, though perhaps it is best not to have earned the sort of notice one bearing the name Thrice Damned must surely have incurred. I have some other questions. Mort whispers to you, Boss, I don't like this. They're not supposed to be here. The Blood War hasn't kicked the Celestials' asses bad enough that any fiend can go on furlough. They want something. Tread carefully. In the meantime, Tavern continued to respond to its companion. In its turn, Tavern ignores you as it replies to its comrade. Once again, I maintain that any notice is better than no notice at all. The Abishai turns back to you. Old friend, does this answer your question as to our identities? I suppose it'll have to. I have some other questions. Some questions, perhaps we have answers. What are you doing? What are we doing? Why? Is it not perfectly clear, old friend? We are on leave from our beloved assignment, taking for ourselves some much needed rest and perhaps inducing some additional recruitment for our glorious cause. Our superiors fully support our presence, to be sure. In a more immediate sense, we are taking our entertainment in this delightful establishment. And, of course, we are celebrating the return of our old friend. However, the stench of the breezes which occasionally waft the scent of goodness in the door debases us somewhat, leaving us physically, mentally, and spiritually weaker. Fortunately, the air in this ward of the city carries a delicious tang of pain and supplication. Wouldn't you agree? Again, the fiend smiles broadly at you. I had some other questions. What is this place? This is the Smoldering Corpse Tavern, one of the most entertaining taverns your kind has seen fit to erect in this city. The poetic justice of the burning fellow at the front of the establishment is really quite a fine touch. Was there something else you wish to ask? Yes, I had some other questions. Tell me about fiends. As we see it, there are two kinds of fiends, those who are correct and those who are not. Our side, that is of the Beitazu, is correct. The other side, that is of the cursed, hated, chaotic Tanari, is incorrect and must be exterminated. We hold the Tanari directly responsible for the Blood War. Were it not for them, we could have settled the lower planes in peace, and wouldn't have all the bother of fighting this wretched war, nor would the unfortunate spillover into other planes be such a cause for concern among the namby-pamby do-gooders. The Tanari are directly to blame for the multiverse's sad state of affairs. That's not really what I was asking. I wanted to know what differentiates you from them. The fiend pauses a moment and then brightens. Ah, yes. You see, we represent law and order. Those who break the law must be punished. If we have no law, we have only anarchy, and surely you can see what anarchy has done for the abyss. It has spawned horrors beyond imagining. Any excesses the Batazu state may have indulged in are simply to counter the rising tide of chaos represented by the Tanari. We mean no harm to anyone, we just prefer to understand where the boundaries are. I see, I had some other questions. Do you know a collector named Farod? Farod? I have heard the name. Is he not a sage of some sort, a necromancer? Or is he a diviner of rubbish? I have heard of him, friend, but do not have the pleasure of his company. Perhaps one of the other patrons here can help you. Perhaps. I have some other questions. I'm looking for a journal. I keep no journals, friend, and I counsel that you should not either. Ask my dear comrade Tegarin why, and you shall receive enlightenment. Very well, Tegarin, why should I not keep a journal? Because, friend, it is easy to make the mistake of committing a true word to posterity, and easier still for someone you once trusted, and here he shoots a glance full of venom at Atelgrin, to find that word and use it against you. Indeed, it can even lead to actions tantamount to desertion. Leaving or losing a journal can cost you your very existence. I see. Farewell. Boss, I'm more sure than ever that these Burks ain't on the up and up. Sounds to me like they deserted, like they're looking for some angle they'll elevate their status in the battle. You don't want to be talking to them, boss. You don't know what games they're playing, and you can get burned, literally. Alright, Mort, I'm done with them. Okay, so who else can we talk about? So they're just patrons, so they're not going to give us much. Okay, you're patrons. Well, okay. So these are our Mercy Killer patrons. So, and he's as well. So let's try talk to one of them. You see a lad who barely looks a day over 18. His face seems to betray some tension. Help you, Cutter? Who are you? I'm Caleb. I'm a mercy killer. I'm here with Turner and Ilsedon to catch my first criminal. What can you tell me about the mercy killers? Well, I have to get used to saying that now. Believe that justice is the most important thing in existence. I believe that without justice there is no meaning, and without meaning we might as well just go off and kill ourselves. I don't want to kill myself, so I decided justice is the meaning. If you want to know more, you ought to ask one of these other two, or find one of our recruiters. They'll talk your ears off. I might do that. Answer some questions for me first, will you? I'm looking for a journal. Have you happened to see one recently? A journal? No, sorry. I'm still new here, so I'm not at all that connected yet. If I see one, I'll let you know. He looks around the bar. What are you doing? Well, seeing as I'm a new mercy killer, I'm supposed to bring a criminal to justice to show I can handle the field work. I decided I wanted to catch a killer, so we asked around and got told he was going to be here. Still haven't seen him though. I'm a little nervous to tell the truth. If you'll excuse me, I really ought to get looking at the faces here again. He cranes his neck and looks around the bar. Very well, good day. Okay, let's talk to one of the other guys. An armored behemoth, this man is huge. He also seems to have a very keen eye. It misses nothing that transpires around him. It also seems that he has no interest in speaking to you. I'd like to ask you some questions. The man stares at you as if you were some form of bug. He stares at you, blinking slowly. He turns his head and then dismissing you without speaking a word. Okay. Bit of a rude guy, but let's leave him be. Now let's talk to this other guy. Maybe he'll be somewhere in between the two that we talked to first. You see a grizzled burly man in spiked armor. He eyes you coolly and slowly, up and down, evaluating you. He pauses for a time on your face, almost as if it jogs his memory somehow. He sighs, then he says, "Can I help you with something, friend?" Who are you? Me? I'm Turner. What's with the outfit? It's a uniform of a kind. We're the Red Death. Mercy killers. We're the justice folks. Someone commits a crime, we bring him to justice. We right wrongs too. You want to know more? Go talk to our recruiters. Fair enough. Answer some questions for me, will you? What did you want to know? Did you recognize me? I thought I did, but those pictures are centuries out of date, and the suspected be dead by now. Curse, these are the plains, and stranger things have happened. Still, if you're the fella I'm thinking of, it looks like you've served your sentence by means of pain. What can you tell me about this person you're talking about? 'Twas a particularly brutal criminal, from what I understand. This was, of course, centuries ago. Immense strength, they said, and enough anger to tear the head from a barber. Barer? I don't know. Not the sod to be messing with. Word is, he got himself surrounded by a Red Death patrol, escaped through a portal, and hasn't been seen since. He frowns, studying you. They have pictures of him. Take away some of the scars and you might be related to him. Probably not him though. Sounds like a nasty fellow. I have some questions about something else. Who are your friends here? They're Caleb and Ilsedon. Caleb's the new meat, a new recruit. Ilsedon's the muscle. I'm the brains. What are you doing here? Waiting for a criminal. This'll be Eager Caleb's first arrest, if the Berk we're waiting for ever shows up. What are you, some kind of police force? Is that what your armor is, a uniform? It's a uniform of a kind. Oh, he told us that already. Okay. Fair enough. Answer some other questions. I'm looking for a journal. Have you seen one? I see far too much on the mean streets of Sigil, friend. Lest this journal was something spectacular, chances are good I ain't seen it. Very well then. Do you have answers to other questions? Have you heard of a collector by the name of Farad? I'm looking for him. You're looking for him, eh? From the tone of your voice, I'm betting it won't be for a quick drink down at the local tavern either. See, I know Farad of old. He's a slippery one. He is. And it'll be a time before we can pin something on him. Problem is, only a fanatic like Valord Scrag, the guy without even a shred of proof. That's all a long way of saying I don't know where the sod is, but you ought to know he's a suspect. And it won't do you any good to be seen with him. Thanks for the advice. Can you answer something else for me? Tell me about this place if you would. It's a Smoldering corpse. Chant is this place is full of portals and such, but then that's true of most anywhere in Sigil. Good cheap drinks, and if you don't mind the company of bubbers and fiends, it ain't a bad place to be. You want to know more about the place? Talk to the bartender or something. Very well, farewell. Okay, we're done with that group then. Okay, so let's come over here. Let's speak to Elke. Okay. You see a short, rotund man with a perplexed expression on his face. From the lines on his loose skin, it looks like it's not too uncommon. He carries a flagon of ale that looks like it's in the process of being emptied, rapidly. In between swallows, he speaks in a gentle voice, so quiet that you can barely hear his words. Hello, traveller. My name is Ilquix. Can I be of some assistance to you? Greetings. I would like to ask you some questions. What did you want to know, my friend? Who exactly are you? I am but a humble man with a slight flowery poetic bent and a tendency towards the supernatural. I regret that I have none of my supplies here, or I should be most eager to teach you of the ways of power, perhaps some later time. Yes, I'd like that. For now, though, I have some other questions. What can you tell me about this place? This place, the Smoldering Corpse Tavern, a fine establishment with a fine owner. Barkis is a true gentleman and ambitious to increase his standing to boot. These, I feel, are the most useful qualities one can possess. They drive people. I had some more questions. What can you tell me of the patrons of this place? The patrons of this tavern are many and varied. I have spoken with most and find them delightful, with the exception of those creatures of law. He gestures towards the pair of Abishai sitting in the corner. They taint the air with their presence, lending an unwholesome stench to an otherwise pleasant environment. I recommend speaking to Barkis. I understand he requires some aid with a trifling matter. Then we have the O character. I am still trying to understand him fully. It is quite an undertaking, if I say so myself. Those are the folk of interest here. The others, well, perhaps I am too discriminating. Why do you despise creatures of law? Ah, a fine question, my friend. My upbringing has been on the chaotic side of the Great Ring. You may speak to Candrian, Illborn, a misnomer if I ever heard one, of the plains. He fancies himself a great plain walker. To return from my digression, I have lived my many years with chaos, and find it pleasantly agreeable. To me, the taint of law, as in those creatures there, is reprehensible and tyrannical. If I am to be crushed underfoot, I'd rather it be by an individual than a machine that knows nothing of emotion. Okay, we only get the one option. Oh, no, we can show more. Okay, so truth, I very much agree. Lie, I very much disagree. Truth, I disagree. Lie, I agree. Okay. Well, from a personal standpoint, I kind of just like to go with the flow. So I guess chaos is more agreeable to me than order is. So let's go. Yeah, I very much agree. Ilquick smiles tootily, his fat cheeks barely moving. To each his own, I say. Do you have more questions? Yes. Who is that burning man? That? Ha! That is the last unfortunate who chose to exercise his individual will without the strength to back up his desires. His name is Ignis, and he was a pyromaniac. He burned and didn't burn the right people, and wound up channeling more raw power than he could control. Now, well, you can see what became of him. If you wish to learn more of him, perhaps the poor creature Drusilla can help you. Drusilla already filled us in previously. I'm not sure. I think it was off camera though. But basically, the guy channeled, or there's basically a lot of energy being channeled into him, and it's only his sheer force of will that's actually keeping him alive. But she kind of hinted at the fact that we may be able to save him at some point. But let's finish up here with Ilquick's. I see. Farewell. Okay, so who else? We got Alice, and we got Barkis, and then Ebb, Creekness, Dakon. Is Dakon the person? And so we a lot more people to speak to. Okay, well, let's start with Barkis, the bartender. Apparently we have to go behind the bar to speak to him. Okay. You see a leather-skinned man with just a hint of ashen colour to his face. His teeth seem sharper than normal, and his eyes are filled with the boredom that comes with having seen too much. His voice is nasal and clipped. You again, eh? What do you want this time? You again? What do you mean? Yeah, you again. You got a hearing problem or something now? You was in here about 15 years ago, got all bubbed up, smashed up the place, and left a pile of coins that wasn't enough to pay for the damage. So you plucked out your own bleeding eyeball and tells me you'll be back to reclaim it when you got 200 coins together. With 15 years of interest, you got about 500 coins. You get the jink, pal? I got your eye. 500? That's ridiculous. He pauses for a moment, considering. That it is. Tell you what, give me 300 and the eye's yours. I still can't afford it. Then you're not getting your eye back. Makes sense? Come talk to me when you've got the jink. Very well, answer some other questions for me then. So this guy's got our eye. Hurry up, will you? I got paying customers. Who are you? Me? I'm Barkis, owner and keeper of this place. What is this place? Didn't you see the sign out front? Didn't you see the Burke burning over the furnace when you came in? It's a Smoldering corpse, Cutter. Best damn bub house in Sigil. At least it's the best damn bub house in this part of the hive, which makes it one of the best in Sigil. Hell, they got fancy places with plants and such in Ladies' Ward, and they got fiendish taverns salted around the rest of the hive, but none of them got the character of the Smoldering corpse. Who is the corpse anyway? Him, Ignis. He used to be a flame wizard, burned down pieces of the hive and got himself scragged by a bunch of other mages. You want to know more about him? Go talk to Drusilla down there by the door. Alright, I'd like to know more about something else though. What can you tell me of the patrons here? Oh, it can tell us a lot apparently. Oh, not that much though. Okay. I don't make it a point to interfere with the lives of the people who give me their hard-earned jink, unless they ask me to. So, over there is Kandrian Planeswalker. He's a good one to talk to about any planeswalking questions you might have. He's been pretty much everywhere. Down there is Ebb, Creeknees, an old harmonium basher. Don't hold that against him. And a tout. He's got a good heart in him, and he's known Sigil up and down. Them fiends over there are Aeltilgrin and Targaryen. Word of advice, don't deal with them. They might be low rankers in the fiend hierarchy, but they're still fiends. Then you got Ilquix over there, not trustworthy. And some mercy killers looking for some pur sod. Dakon the Gizrael is a mystery to me. Don't know much about him. He don't talk much. Finally, you interested in earning some free bob? Yes. There's a bobber over against the wall, hanging about in the shadows, who's been trying to work up her courage to slip out without covering her tab. I want you to make sure she don't do that. You do it, you got free bob here for life. So that's the lady we talked to last time, who's in the Dustman robes. So should we do it or shouldn't we? I think she's just having a bit of fun. Let's leave her be. So let's say, no thanks, farewell. Okay, so we're finished with you. Next, let's talk to Arias. You see a trim, muscular man dressed in clothing that is comparatively drab and mundane compared to most of the outfits you've seen in the city. He carries himself with an air of supercilious arrogance. He also looks dramatically out of place here. What do you want? He asks. Who are you? I am Arias, warrior of renown. Surely you have heard of me. No, I haven't. Can it truly be that none in this town have heard of me or my exploits? Alas. I thought I was about to say his name. Alas. I shall have to prove myself all over again, and here I have thought my fame had spread across the world. What world are you from? I come from the city of Aliburn, on the river Tame. Surely you have heard of its glories and wonders. No matter, this place is benighted and ignorant when it comes to the splendor of the true cities. I am told that my land is what is called a prime by the denizens of the city, though a prime of what, I don't know. How did you get here? I was chasing my old foe, the villainous, life-stealing Tyr Tanelel. He pauses, waiting for acknowledgement, and then continues. He conjured his demonic magic and opened himself a doorway and hurled himself through it. Before he could flee me entirely, I threw myself after him and found myself here. I get it. You're one of the clueless. He bristles, reddening, and his hand clutches convulsively around the hilt of his sword. Clueless, is it? I take offense to your words. Sir, I take offense to your words, sirrah, and bid you farewell in the hopes that we should never cross paths again. He turns away from you, still flushed with pride and rage. I just wanted to ask you some questions. He sighs heavily and eyes you with disdain. Then be on with it, scarred one. Ask and be done. Okay, so what do we want to ask him? I'd like to apologize to you. He appears entirely shocked, as if the notion of apologies is alien to him. You wish to apologize? That's what I said. Then, I suppose, as a point of honor, I must accept your apology. Very well. In return, I offer my apology as well. Let us set the matter aside and speak no more of it. Very well. Farewell. We might talk to him again in the future, but for now, I think that's what we'll leave with him. Then let's talk to Eb Creeknees here. You see a slightly stooped old man with a fully grey beard and a lion's mane of hair. He wears a couple of shoulder guards as armour, and he keeps a helmet nearby. He smokes a pipe and carries a pouch of tobacco around his waist. He looks pretty strong, but he's a little plump and also appears to have some sort of breathing trouble. Well, let's get a good voice for him. Okay. Well now, aren't you a sight, lad? Never have I seen so many scars blanketing a fella, like a scar cloak you're wearing. Where you been hanging out in a grain thresher? Where you been hanging out in a grain thresher? He laughs. Oh, I'm just jesting with ye, lad. No offence meant, and I hope no offence taken. I'm Eb. He extends his hand. Greetings, Eb. His handshake is firm. Now, I hereby tender my apologies for the unfair jesting, lad. Hope no hard feelings. Can I buy you a tankard or two of something to smooth any ruffled feathers? Why not? That's the spirit, lad. Bide a moment. He rises to his feet and heads to the bar. After a moment, he returns to his seat with a pair of tankards. Here you go, lad. Drink up. He takes a massive swallow from his own tankard, puffs on his pipe, and says, What can old Eb do for you on this fine Sigil day? I had some questions about this place. Oh, well, I gathered that. Just to look at you. I mean, you don't look like you're from around these parts, lad. You look a little too out of sorts to be a seasoned native. Eb chuckles, then takes another drink. So what can I help you with, lad? You need to know the lay of the land. Eb winks. Who are you? Eb Creeknees, third measure of the harmonium. Now retired and being a tout with one's voice, since I don't step as lightly as I might these past 2 or 3 decades. He chuckles. Now, lad, who be you and what troubles might you be in? Third measure of harmonium. Eb puffs up slightly in pride and gets a semi-stern look on his face. Aye, third measure of the harmonium. He relaxes a little. Though I haven't served a tour of duty in many a decade, pushing a quill wasn't quite up my alley after all the fights and skirmishes I've been in, so I just bide my time keeping tabs on things down here in the hive and helping out a little where I can. And you look like someone who might need a hand. Are you in some kind of trouble, lad? What fights and skirmishes have you been in? Eb rolls his eyes. More than I can remember, lad. Well, almost more than I can remember. Leastwise, I did an all too long tour in the Blood War, that infernal muck-up war of lies on Terras. Far too many years in the Black Centuries War. Eb begins to tick off the wars on his fingers and counts silently to himself. Then there was the Thrice Plains War and many others. I even took part in the Harmonium War of Liberation. Oh, towards the end there, I was also in the Sigil City Watch. Some could argue that was the most dangerous of them all. The mention of the Blood War feels like a cold dagger slipping into your heart. Tell me more of the Blood War. Ebb sighs, oblivious to your reaction. Aye, the Blood War, the most dangerous family feud this side of the primordial soup. A mean-spirited mob of fiends on one side, a batch of warmonger fiends on the other side. It's the war that creation sparked, and they've been digging it into each other ever since. Two sets of fiends warring against each other, eh? Aye, the Tanari vicious killers who care for none but themselves, and the Batizu war machine, all for law and order under their infernal rules. The whole mess spills out into other planes from time to time, and it's made the multiverse a less pleasant place to live. I see, I had some other questions. Aye, lad, what do you want to know? Okay, let's see. Yeah, let's skip these ones for now, and let's ask him to tell us of the Sigil and its environs. Ebb laughs loudly. You don't think small, do you? If you want to know what's outside the city, go talk to Kandrian Ilborn over there. He's the traveller of this place. As for the rest of it, well, I can tell you of the lady, the Davos, keys and portals, the way we keep track of time, the way the city's laid out. And what was it you'd want to know? Okay, tell me of the lady. Well now, not many know much about her, lad. And I'm figuring even those that know more than a little don't know too much more. She's a mystery, she is. And even should you run across her, powers forbid, she's silent and deadly. She's not evil, far as I can tell. But she keeps the dark about herself and Sigil pretty tight. No one's been able to penetrate it. And if they have, they've been mazed. Mazed? What do you mean? Aye, sometimes bloods will be packed off to a place where they can't do no harm. The lady, see, she'll take a bit of Sigil and make a little dimensional pocket out of it, a maze. She places those that have crossed her in there and lets them rot. Ebb puffs his pipe. Now, you can't escape getting mazed once the lady sets her gaze on you, lad. She'll get you eventually, no matter how hard you try and dodge her. You'll be walking down an alley or about to step through a portal or take a left turn down a street. You've gone many fold times before and suddenly you're someplace down you don't recognize. Now, mazes aren't escape proof. There's always a way out of each one, a portal the lady places there. You just have to figure out where it is and how to use it. Okay, and there is more here, but we're kind of running short on time. So from myself, Mort, the Nameless One, and Ebb Creek Knees here, it is Ebb Creek Knees we're talking about, I believe. Yeah. But it's goodbye for now, and we really do hope to see all of you next time.